Hi, I'm Sprychon. If you know me, you know that I absolutely love the Brave Tribe. And you want to know what else loves the Brave Tribe? Fever extenders, because we have 4 of them for some reason. Like, seriously. We should have stopped at the first one, honestly. But we're going to talk about which one of those is the best fever extender, because obviously you're not going to be running 4 fever extenders. You shouldn't even run 2 on like any team, unless they offer something really different. But none of these characters really offer anything too different. And the one character who does, we'll talk about that. So let's meet our 4 Brave Fever Extenders. This is not in any particular order, this is just how I decided to do it. First up, we have Shadowside Blazion from the Summer Awakening one, the same one with Summer Natsume. Yeah, Natsume, I always get confused. Next up, we have Evil Fuyu Dread from a Nyarthur event. I don't know which one because his event is not in the docks. We go from like event number 4 for the docks to like 11. I don't know what happened to the other ones, and I really wish that did Mal just lose them? Somebody please link those to me. I could really use them. Next up, we have Shinji and Eva 1 Gaius from the Evangelion event, the second collab. It also brought Eva Unit 13, who is amazing for Eerie. And then finally, we have Happy Wedding Itsuki from the Quintessential Quintuplets event. We're specifically going to be using Happy Wedding Itsuki because Triple Z rank Itsuki doesn't really offer anything too special, and UZ Itsuki is just better. So let's meet our contestants. This order will be based on when they came out. So the first one we have is Evil Fuyu Dread, and notice the note up here. The Triple Z ranks get around 24 to 26 for their HP and attack for each limit break they get. So at max limit breaks, they would get around 260 to each stat. That's how I calculated the max stats, and that's why I have the little wavy dash, because these aren't exact. His skills are Feverfill and Afterfill. A very good set of skills to not only allow you to be both chainable, but also get your Soultimate up the first time. Which for shorter events, with 600,000 HP, is quite useful. The pros of using him is that, obviously, his Feverfill lets him get a very easy first Soultimate, and Afterfill makes it less difficult in order to get his second Soultimate. However, the cons is that it requires other units to help him get into Fever Time, as he has no way to really do it himself other than vanilla linking. And Afterfill alone doesn't always guarantee that you will be able to get an additional Soultimate, so he'll require some help in order to get another one. Although not as much as our next contestant, Shinji and Eva 1 Gaius. He was a crankable yokai, even though he's a human, I think. I don't know, I haven't watched the show. But we're going to be boosting his stats up to Limit Break 10, 1 because I have him at Limit Break 10, and 2 because it doesn't change the outcome. So, I'm not going to read the stats, by the way. You can see the stats. I don't need to read that because who cares? Their stats are very similar. So it doesn't make too big of a difference. Oh, and by the way, Fuyu Dread was an impossible stage, and so was Blazion. So you could limit break them to 10 to get their max stats. The first number you see with Shinji is his limit break 7 stats, approximately, and the second set of stats is his limit break 10 stats. Just so that way it's a comparison, I guess. His skills is that popping a size 6 or larger Puni of his can stun the enemy, and he also can do more damage to stunned enemies with his Soultimate, which is the whole point of him. The pros of using him is that he will outdamage the other Triple Z rank Fever Extenders, potentially maybe even Yonbo exclusive Triple Z rank Fever Extenders. I don't know, I don't have any of those, so I can't test myself, but he's definitely one of the most powerful in terms of just pure damage. And his stun is only 2 seconds, but that might be able to save you from a normal attack, meaning you could potentially do a whole extra Soultimate in Fever Time. The cons of using him, however, it requires other units to not only help him get into Fever Time, but to help him set up his stun, because it's not very consistent to pop a size 6 Puni, and it's only a chance to stun anyway, so you're not even guaranteed it. And he has no way to easily get his Soultimate up the first time or any subsequent times. And again, his stun's inconsistent. Shadowside Blazion was the third one to come out, and everybody was saying that this guy is the best buff for Brave that they could have had. I saw he had Easy Link and Feverfill, and even before I realized that Feverfill is really good, I was like, this guy's very mid. This is like the most not buff they could have possibly given. Like, he was better than the other two when he came out, but like, it's so minuscule, it doesn't even really matter in my opinion. And again, as you can see in the note, he is the reason this entire video and slideshow exists, but we'll get on to that later. The pros of using him is that Feverfill allows for his easy first ultimate, so with shorter events, he's very good. And Easy Link is basically it's a good way to help you get into fever time, although it's not fast fever, but it still helps. It can definitely help you. And since he only needs like a size 6 Puni in order to get his Soultimate when you first enter fever, you can pop a size 6 Puni and then just like not pop the rest of the Shadowside Blazions to potentially get a second Soultimate. However, he will require extra help for additional Soultimates after that. And he struggles more the more HP a boss has, as if you're good enough and you have a team that will let you get into fever time quickly. Evil Fuyu Dread has almost the same attack stat with one attack less from my calculations, but he has Afterfill, so he's easier to get up, so you might as well just use him. So he definitely is better for shorter events, but Evil Fuyu Dread, in terms of triple Z ranks, should be better for longer events. However, Happy Wedding Itsuki is very different. Her skills are Fast Fever and Afterfill. And we should note, she is a UZ rank, and since NHN is scared, unless the UZ rank is a Crankakai exclusive, such as Santa Natsuyomi, or they rerun in the Crankakai, the max limit breaks you can get for them was 3. Like with Idol Shuka, you could only get 3. Crossma, before he was rerunning, you could only get 3. Kagure Zachten, before he re-ran, you could only get 3, and so on and so forth. Happy Wedding Itsuki has not re-ran, so the max possible limit breaks you could get for her is 3. But she can get up to level 90, meaning that her stats are a little different. Now, we should know. Now, I am going to point out her attack stats, because, as you can see, she does have the lowest attack stat of all 3. However, it's only really by like 40 points. And UZs actually have a higher multiplier for their damage, meaning that while her attack stat might be 40 attack lower, her multiplier will actually make her do more damage. So, as a first pro, she has Fast Fever, and she's one of the 3 good, in my opinion, Brave units that have Fast Fever. Afterfill lets her get additional Soultimates up easier, meaning that she is the best for enemies with higher HP, and she straight up deals more damage than the others, including Shinji. I'm fairly certain, the last time I tested it, my Shinji with Limit Break 10 and my level 90 Limit Break 3 Happy Wedding Itsuki did around the same damage against a stunned enemy. So when Shinji has his very unrealistic, perfect setup, he does the same damage, if not less, than Happy Wedding Itsuki does just normally. The cons of it is, again, Afterfill alone is enough to guarantee additional Soultimates, and she struggles to get her first Ultimate up because she doesn't have Feverfill, she only has Afterfill. And she requires earrings in order to be strong, because you have to fuse triple Z rank Itsuki with the special earrings that you could use to promote them to UZ rank. Because if you didn't do that, well, she's kind of mediocre. But as a UZ rank, she's definitely quite strong. Some additional notes before we start ranking the units. This is based on their max LBs, and we're giving Shinji, again, 10 limit breaks, because it's not going to change the outcome. But this is all dependent on if you have everyone maxed. Obviously, if you have a triple Z rank like Blazion at limit break 10, but your Fuyu Dread is no limit breaks, obviously Shadowside Blazion's going to be better. Normal and Itsuki, not accounted for, because UZ Itsuki is literally the same thing but better. Even at limit break 10, they have basically the same stats, but UZ Itsuki has a higher point multiplier, so she does more damage. And she has more HP, because UZ ranks just tend to have more HP. However, if we did rank Normal Wedding Itsuki, she would be 3rd place, second to last. If we ranked all 5 of them, she would be 4th place. Each character does have their own certain niche, which is why I've been specifying that I like Shadowside Blazion for short fights, and why I think Fuyu Dread and Happy Wedding Itsuki are better for longer fights because their skills allow for that. So the team that I'm going to be basing this off of is using Gear 5 Nate, aka Demon God Nate, the UZ rank all attacker extreme popper with Unity, and Yami Kenma, the triple Z rank with Unity. They are on the main Brave team because they are obviously their Unity bonuses, and they're not going to be replaced. So each character will be able to have up to 2 additional slots in order to help any sort of thing that they need. Like Shinji needs somebody to help him stun. So with that in mind, let's talk about Shinji. He is easily the worst one of these. Potential assist characters is Misaka from the Attack on Titan collab. She is a Brave Triple Z rank, Limit Break 7able, Link Big and Redrop that is an all pop plus inflate 4. And then you can also run Earthwalker NOA, who is a Nyanbo double Z rank, Unity bonus, and is a tap inflator who has the same stunning skill as Shinji. So you have 2 characters that could potentially stun, or you have a character that can set up Shinji to be able to stun. However, that doesn't really help too much. While he can do more damage than the other 2 triple Z ranks, Itsuki does the same damage with no setup, so he's not even special. And speaking of a setup, Misaka is very mid. She doesn't have any sort of redeeming factors outside of the Link Big All Pop Inflate 4, but Brave doesn't really need that right now. I mean, you can get away with running her, but there are other characters that do more. If you really want the stun, though, Earthwalker NOA being able to stun and bringing Unity means that he brings a lot of stats, and can actually bring more stats than Misaka if you level him up and max his skill out. Yeah, it's kind of... Unity does go kind of busted. Although since he requires setup in order to do halfway decent damage compared to Itsuki, it's not very consistent at all. And again, you can just get unlucky and not get the stun at all, and then you just have a mid-yokai. So, easily the worst of the 4. Now this one. I was in a call with other Puni players last night, and someone said that they have Shadowside Blazion as their favorite, and who they think is the best Fever Extender for Brave. So, let me explain why I don't think that. A potential assist character is the Yomachojin King Nate. He's the other UZ Brave Nate. He has Easy Link and Link Big, but Link Big is his first skill, meaning that you don't need to waste $20 to get his second skill because it's just Easy Link. And like, yeah, sure, it can help, but is it really worth $20? I don't know. It's up to you. And he's a Soultimate filler, meaning that he can easily help Shadowside Blazion get more Soultimates off. Then, again, potentially controversial, but here we're going to go. So, since his skills don't really help him with chaining by himself, it's better if the enemy doesn't have too much HP, so that way he can just nuke the enemy super quickly. Although, since, Easy Link isn't fast fever like Itsuki has, you still have to link around... You still have to make like 40 links, I think. Fever charge. You need 40 fever charge, I think. It's either 40 or 45. But fast fever doesn't reduce that number, it just makes it easier to get to that number. Meanwhile, fast fever that Itsuki has does straight up reduce that number, so you could potentially just get lucky and get like 18 to 20 Itsukis and just blitz into fever time. Shadowside Blazion can't do that. However, Fever Fill is definitely a W, and using King Nate can allow for him to have loops. And if you want, you can run Hyaki the Muncher, who is a fast fever character, and you can pair these two together in order to spam damage. However, other characters make better use of this. Next up, we have Evil Fuyu Dread, another potentially controversial one. But I'm going to try to prove this one whenever I get skill books, because I don't have any. The potential assist character is going to be the new Ryu Senin from the whatever this Dragon Slayers is. The one with the UZ Ryuta. He is an Appear More and Fast Fever character, and his Ultimate is an all pop and stun, but that part doesn't really matter. Again, this is going to require testing, but if I get enough skill books, hopefully I'll be able to test this. So, Gunshin loops, right? I tried to show them off in my cheater video. But theoretically, with Appear More, once we get into Fever Time the first time and use Evil Fuyu Dread's Fever Extend, we'll have around 12 seconds to be able to pop into as many Puni in order to get 18 to 20 Ryu. Also, we can use the Demon God Nate as a extreme popper in order to get our combo up, meaning that Evil Fuyu Dread will be able to do more damage. So then, we're just going to wait for Fever to end, and then we're going to use Ryu Senin, link as many Puni as we can, get back into Fever time, and due to Evil Fuyu Dread having Afterfill, which will save 42% of your Fever gauge when you max it out, and his Fever Fill, filling your Soultimate gauge by 95%, that'll just give you a G Soultimate when you get into Fever time. So you'll link all the Puni, immediately get into Fever, and immediately use another Fever Extend. So you're just going to repeat that by constantly popping as many Puni as you can in order to get back into Fever time. And if you manage to lock the enemy in an attack animation, you'll have around 2 additional seconds in order to link Puni and get into Fever time. So you can just sort of keep the enemy locked in an attack animation while not being able to attack you other than counter attacks. So you can just spam Evil Fuyu Dread Ultimates, and if you want, you can also use the Brave Triple Z rank Black Dragon, who has Drop Big and Pop Heal, and theoretically at least, you should be able to just stay in Fever time constantly and heal yourself and do damage. So again, I'm hopefully going to be able to test this, but if you don't want to run a cheater strat, you can use Earthwalker NOA to buff up his damage, or maybe some Appearless character. I know there's probably some Appearless Brave yokai. It's basically like Gunshin loops, but you only need one tribe. But again, I need to test it, and you could switch around Evil Fuyu Dread and Shadowside Blazion if you don't care. And plus, Evil Fuyu Dread is probably the best for Gate of Whimsy events, so I just kind of valued that a little bit more, because, spoiler, first place, Happy Wedding Itsuki, she can kind of do the same thing that Shadowside Blazion does. Remember how I said that he was really good for fights with 600k HP? Happy Wedding Itsuki basically does the same thing. Again, potential assist character is Yoma Chojin King Nate, but she makes better use of him. We'll talk about why. Kind of obvious when you think about it. A UZ rank compared to a triple Z rank, hopefully she would be better because she came out later. And I personally think she is. She does the most damage out of all of the characters, and is hurt the least if you lack LBs because she can only get 3. So, compared to everyone else, if you just pull her and you don't get her in her event, she's great, and her 2 skills are built into 1 skill, so you don't need any sort of book either. So definitely, if you're just a new starting player, Happy Wedding Itsuki is the best. I don't know when she'll ever be reran at all, but if you missed out on her, you should be kicking yourself in the foot because, she's really good. Due to having a fast fever on top of being a fever extender, you can also run Hyaki the Muncher, who is basically the same thing. He's a nuclear bomb with fast fever. And since you're running, 2 nuclear weapons, you can run Yoma Chojin King Nate in order to fill both of their Soultimates up and probably deal, maybe almost close to 700,000 damage in, 4 Soultimates, not including Yoma Chojin King Nate's Soultimate, as long as you used a Fever Extender beforehand. An Extreme Pop beforehand. Then you can use Yoma Chojin King Nate again in order to get both their Soultimates up one more time. Use Itsuki, and then wait for Fever to end, and then use Hyaki the Muncher, and then you've probably, very likely, dealt 1.2 million damage. Probably. I don't know. I don't have my team maxed out, but when I get my Brave team maxed out, I'll try to do the 1.2 million damage test like I did with Heartful, with my unoptimized Heartful team that doesn't have Orihime Natsuomi. So her only flaw is lacking a skill to get her Soultimates up once, but honestly, if you can't get it, just reset the fight. And if you still can't get it, a skill issue, because it's not that hard, honestly. She's a fast fever. You should be linking her Puni up anyway. And an Extreme Popper will help you get that Soultimate up. And, it's not the most difficult thing. It's definitely more difficult than Fuyu Dread and Shadowside Blazion Soultimate to get up. but it's not impossible. So I'm actually going to be promoting my community post that I made earlier. This was an older screenshot. There's even more votes on it now. Let me double check on my phone real quick. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I'm at 328 subscribers as of the time that I'm filming this. So if you're not, subscribe. I make Puni videos very often, so you should subscribe. At the time that I'm saying this word, Fuyu, at the time I make this noise, there are 34 votes. The results are the same, with Shinji having no votes. Yuzi Itsuki, the winner in my opinion, has 88 votes, has 88% of the votes now. Shadowside Blazion, however, is voted as second place with 9%, and Evil Fuyu Dread is voted at 3%. Now, I haven't really told too many people about my theory for the Ryu Senin Fuyu spam Soultimate strat, but again, I want to try to make a video on that because I think it could potentially be a pretty good strategy. I mean, you've seen Gunshin loops, and if you said, hey, you can use Gunshin and a Popio character and beat any stage, if I didn't know anything about Gunshin, I would think you're stupid. But it's potentially possible. It just needs more testing, because nobody's done it yet, because Ryu Senin is still very new. However, all 4 of these characters are all outdone by our real winner of the Brave Tribe, the strongest warrior, Hyaki the Muncher. You know him. You probably love him. I hope you do, because he'll crush your skull in if you don't. He is a Limit Break tenable all-popper that does more damage if you have a combo over 100. This stacks on top of the normal damage buff you get with a high combo. So he does more damage than UZ Itsuki in Fever Time. I'm fairly certain. Let me double check that, and you'll see the results right now. So here we are testing the damage of Itsuki versus Demuncher. This is the team I'm going to be running, just so that way there's no sort of attack difference, so nobody's like, hey, the team had a higher attack stat, so Demuncher did more damage. No, I'm going to prove that Demuncher is just straight up stronger. I guess I'll be doing Itsuki first. We'll just get into Fever Time a second time. With this, yep. So Itsuki will take away 135k. Almost 200,000 exactly. That's crazy. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at the stats. So, she's Limit Break 3, 1507 attack, 257 point multiplier, G's Ultimate level 1. I honestly thought it was 2. No, she does that G's Ultimate 1. She goes higher. Hyaki the Muncher, G's Ultimate 1, 1421 attack, 286 for a point multiplier with a combo over 100. Yeah, it's kind of busted. Alright, we're just gonna make a big bonus ball and work into Fever. Epic. Well, let's do this. Combo 118, subtract 139k. Alright, so 127k is what we're gonna have to subtract. Oh, by the way, I could easily have gotten a Soultimate for what's-her-face, Itsuki. So, yeah, it would be a skill issue if you can't do it. Alright, combo of 120, subtract 145. The numbers I'm getting are strangely low. So subtract 3. In a shocking new discovery, Happy Wedding Itsuki does more damage than Hyaki the Muncher at Limit Break 5. Although, to be honest, if you were to have Hyaki the Muncher at Limit Break 10, they basically do the same damage. That's so interesting. When I used attack boosters, Hyaki the Muncher got 3.2 million, and Happy Waiting Itsuki only got 3 million. But I guess that might have just been a really high roll for the Muncher and a really low roll for Itsuki, and maybe it depended on the Puni he popped. But either way, let's test it with Shinji and show, it doesn't really matter. So remember, the damage we're trying to beat is basically 200k. So all we have to do is get a size 6 Puni. Alright. Now we're going to try to get into Fever Time while having characters to pop Puni with. Are you telling me we didn't get a stun with any of those? Okay. Remember, trying to beat 200k. You can see Shinji does more damage than Itsuki. However, did you notice how I popped, what was that, 4 large Puni that could stun? And it took a 5th one in order to stun the enemy? I don't know if it'll count if you use extreme poppers or any sort of popper's ultimate, but still. I had to work really hard to get that. And after I do that one ultimate, the boss is just gonna counter and he's gonna snap out of the stun. So Shinji, his big strength, being that he does more damage, is less consistent than Happy Wedding Itsuki, who does 20k less damage in exchange for having Fast Fever and Afterfill and being more consistent. Yeah, I'll take my, where's his face? Hyaki the Muncher. I'll take my, Gym Boy. Talking about how much damage Shinji, and by extension the other two should do. Oh, no stun, he does around... Now in this example, Shinji did, around 180k, 183k-ish. But let me double check and make sure that Shinji does not have any sort of illegal substances boosting up his G-Soultimate. Nope, no G-Soultimate boost. But they still do less damage than Happy Wedding Itsuki does. Who, by the way, will do... So 145... She'll do around 200,000 damage. You know, on average, compared to Shinji's 180k. Meaning that, yeah, she's kind of a nuclear bomb. Then we'll just, Shinji. See if we get a stun. No stun, because he's a loser. He's a dumb little loser boy. And guess what? We're not going to get 1 million damage because of him. If that was Happy Wedding Itsuki's ultimate, it would have been 200k. His skills are using Soultimates can fill his Soultimate gauge. It has an 88% chance to fill his Soultimate gauge by 20%. Fairly certain. Not bad. Something else probably would have been better, but I personally don't like Link Big and Fast Fever in one skill, and I also don't like Drop Big and Fast Fever in one skill, because it just gets kind of messy. If you had a Fever Fill, that would probably be like perfect, but it's fine. But he has Fast Fever, so you know, W. The pros of using him is he is the strongest single target unit ever. My Limit Break 5 Hyaki the Muncher. As long as my tests don't contradict what I'm saying, because I haven't done them yet. He out damages Happy Wedding Itsuki in Fever Time. What? Both of them had a combo over 100. I just want to point that out. And he has Fast Fever, so you know, W. The cons of using him is that, you know, Soultimate Fill is a kind of mid. Soultimate Fill when using Soultimates is kind of mid. And he requires the use of an EX popper in order for him to actually be good. So, you know, you have to know how the game works, and that's kind of difficult to do for some people, apparently. The unlikely best friends of Hyaki the Muncher and Happy Wedding Itsuki. The mere existence of these two obviously make somebody who can fill their Soultimates up very valuable, such as Yoma Chojin King Nate. When he first came out, he was quite mediocre because Shinji Awoken, not the Gaius one, but it's a different one, he has Drop Big and Link Big and has a Charger. So if you were to use whatever the Brave Triple Z rank, the Link Big EX Popper Ryuta is, you could use them and just like spam them. So Yoma Chojin King Nate didn't really have a use. But now that Ryuta doesn't really have a place on the team anymore because Demon God Nate does his purpose of getting a high combo while bringing unity to the table, it allows you to run Yoma Chojin King Nate in order to fill both of their Soultimates up super duper easily. And since, Yoma Chojin King Nate is a UZ rank and has a higher damage multiplier, he'll probably deal slightly more damage. And dude, having potentially Easy Link, you could also get into Fever Time a little bit easier. Probably. I don't know. I don't have Easy Link, and I haven't really tested him because I don't have the skill books. I need like 25 skill books for everything I wanted to do for videos. Like, because I want to test out the new Black Dragon with the attack boost skill. I really want to test that out, but I also want to test out the Fuyu Dread spam strat. So I need to level up both him and Ryusen and Soultimate skills. So yeah, there's quite a grind I got going on. But due to these two being the most powerful units Brave has to offer, they can easily just wipe out any stage as long as you have enough HP to deal with counterattacks. And due to having a UZ rank, a Limit Break Tenable Triple Z rank, another UZ rank, and then 2 Unity bonuses, being Triple Z rank and above, you probably should have enough HP. Which is why I don't really penalize them whenever I say Brave is the second best tribe in the game, even though they don't have a revive. Because the sheer damage these two provide, they don't really need a revive, honestly. Like, eventually they're going to get aged out and they will be penalized for not having a revive. But that time's not now, so we don't worry about it. Continuing on, since they both have Fast Fever, you don't really need to take too many normals, meaning that your high amount of HP can be used to spam these Soultimates in Fever Time and dealing with counterattacks. And since Hyaki the Muncher doesn't require you to be in Fever Time for his huge damage, unlike Itsuki, you can use him as a very powerful finishing Soultimate to probably deal at least 150k, maybe even 200k if you have a high combo. Depends, I don't know. I don't have his numbers off my head. Mine's only Limit Break 5. No G Soultimate put into him. So he's very powerful. I do have to say that. Like, if you don't run Hyaki the Muncher and you have Hyaki the Muncher, you're just stupid, honestly. Like, he's super good. He's really, really good. I love him. The other Fever Extenders we have simply lack the damage if we were to use them like we're using Happy Wedding Itsuki. Because, Limit Break 10 Triple Z ranks, they don't match up to UZ ranks with 3 Limit Breaks. Like, I'm sorry, Hydra, but Fukuryu just doesn't do the damage of Kegure Zarchten. I'm sorry to say it. But she's still really cool, though. Even if they don't have the best way to get their Soultimates up the first time, building a team around them to help them spam their Soultimates is going to bring you way more damage than somebody like Shadowside Blazion and even Shinji. Thank you for watching. That's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you learned something, and hopefully I'll be able to get enough skill books to test the spam strats. So, hope you enjoyed, and hopefully next event sucks so I can make a bunch of videos and do a score attack guide my own way. That's the end. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, ring the bell. I think you probably can do that. I'm very close to 330 subs, which I've also, thanks for the support that I've been getting recently. Like, I've been getting like a new subscriber a day, and it's just been awesome. Like, thank you. I really do appreciate it. The beginner's guide, I'll probably start making it next event, as long as next event isn't good, just so that way I can like focus all my time on not playing the event. But other than that, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you probably next Mondays when the next video is going to be out. What's it going to be on? I don't know yet. But, be prepared. Tell me characters you want for a character spotlight, and as long as I have them, I'll try to... As long as they're very interesting. I don't want to do just, like, uninteresting characters, because, like, who cares? Everybody wants to know why Summer Setsuna's busted, and nobody cares why, you know, Hyaki Demuncher, oh wow, he's a nuclear bomb. There's only so many ways I can show that in a video. But thanks for watching. Bye.